Coming up on News Live at 6, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo testifies in front of a House panel. We have why he was on Capitol Hill. Plus, an uptick in crime has left students worried. And new body camera footage shows the moment a star wide receiver was put in handcuffs and detained by police. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Crime has been up in the university neighborhood area recently. Welcome into the first News Live at 6 of the semester. I'm Lauren Holdmeyer.
And I'm Kaitlin Campbell. New at 6, many SU students who live off campus came home to a concerning message last week. Our Jude Bazerman has more.
Kaitlin, Lauren, thank you. Yet last week I came home and on my front porch I saw a notice from the Syracuse Police Department. That notice read, "Juvenile crimes have been on the rise in the city." And unfortunately, that suspicious activity that's been happening all around is not just unique to my neighborhood.
He calls me and he goes, "Hey, has your window always been broken?" And I was like, "No."
Smashed windows, stolen computers, and missing cars have become a daily occurrence in the city of Syracuse, but especially in the neighborhoods around SU.
I feel like every year we get that Syracuse DPS email where it's like some car break-ins and happen and they're just telling people, lock your doors, close your windows, take any valuables out of your car, and it seems like it's the same story every year. From
this time last year, larcenies, stolen vehicles, and property crimes have increased dramatically across the entire city, but college students remain the most vulnerable.
There's a number of factors that come into play there, a number of causes really. So one, the student housing, for example. You're going to have a lot of people that are transient. They're going to come in and out, right? Take in alcohol involvement. A lot of folks in college like to partake in alcohol.
So, what can Syracuse students do to protect themselves from crimes against their homes and their cars?
Not being an easy target, making sure that you lock your doors and windows, keep your cars locked all the time. If you're going to go somewhere, it's always best to take an Uber or ride share. Always go with a buddy.
But even when students keep these precautions in mind, many feel they can still become a victim at any moment.
Why do they feel the need to kind of prey on, especially college students? Because it feels like there's almost targeted crime in the campus, neighborhood.
And many of those responsible for the crimes against SU students are juveniles. In my conversation with Sergeant Tom Blake, he described the programs that the city has in place to combat the rising crime levels. Kaitlin, Lauren.
Jude, thank you. Tickets are now on sale for the 20th anniversary of Juice Jam. University Union has announced that this year's performing artists are Party Next Door, Maisie Peters, and Smino. They will take the stage on September 22nd at the Dome. SU and ESF students can find the ticket link on University Union's Instagram page. Tickets for the celebration are going for $20.
And the Involvement Fair concludes tomorrow. The fair opens to students at 11 a.m. and ends around 2. SU's religious and honors organizations will be out on the quad along with fraternity and sorority affairs. The fair allows students to sign up for community engagement and connect with campus opportunities.
And SU's Information Technology Services is launching a new Microsoft sign-in screen that reflects the university branding guidelines. Technology Services say that the new screen will help students avoid revealing their account information to websites that are designed to trick users. The new look will be the same for desktop phones and computers. News alerts and other information will be included in the new update starting next Tuesday.
And Syracuse University's iSchool is launching a new artificial intelligence graduate program for next fall. Beginning this semester, students can apply for a master's degree in applied human-centered artificial intelligence. The iSchool says the new program will prepare students to use an advanced AI model with human-centered approach. Students will work on projects like creating a customer service chatbot and developing a medical diagnostic tool.
Well, Kaitlin, I've been loving the fall temperatures recently. Fall is my favorite season, so the cooler mornings and the slightly warmer afternoons have been great, but I heard it's supposed to get hot later again this week.
I know, that's what I've been hearing too. I mean, today I felt like I had to prepare for both fall and summer with my outfit.
Me too, yep.
But who knows more about that is our weather anchor, Tyler Oldano. Tyler, what do you have for us?
It's a beautiful 71 degrees out here, guys. Bright and sunny, not a cloud in sight. You know, I've been really enjoying this beautiful clear weather we're having over the past few days, and it's going to continue even more. We're going to get into that later in the show. If you take a look at our weather around central New York, that's going to stay roughly the same as it is here in Syracuse. We're all staying in that lovely 70 to high 60s range. We have one going on right now in, in Cortland, 66 in Cortland. In Ithaca, 70 degrees right now. They're having a nice hot and sunny time. Later tonight, though, those temperatures are going to dip a little bit more into the 50s range at 3 a.m., but before that, we're going to see at 8 p.m. it's going to go down to 62. Still going to be rather warm, though. The skies are still going to stay roughly pretty clear. Few clouds scattered throughout, but you got to watch out for that high humidity. That's going to be really make your skin moist and wet. If you go outside tonight, be on the caution for that. Wear some nice loose-fitting clothes. That's all for weather right now. Back to you all at the desk.
Tyler, thank you so much. Well, drivers, look out. This week is Speed Awareness Week throughout New York State, and Governor Kathy Hochul has announced increased patrolling this week to celebrate. Governor Hochul says, quote, "Safe driving is not just about following the rules, it's about protecting the lives of every individual on our roads. By increasing patrols and focusing on speeding, we are taking a proactive step to ensure that our streets are safer for everyone."
And on campus, the SU School of Architecture has received a grant from the Graham Foundation for Advanced Studies in the Fine Arts. The grant will help the fund for Foundation of Advanced Studies in the Fine Arts. The publication of essays from famed architect Richard Ingersoll. The new grantees join a network funded by Graham Foundation for nearly 70 years. The foundation has awarded more than $44 million in direct support to projects around the world.
Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo testified on Capitol Hill earlier today on behalf of his COVID-19 handling. Cuomo was questioned about allegations that his office underreported COVID-19 deaths in nursing homes during the height of the pandemic. Cuomo has strongly objected to the charges, and his team believes the subcommittee has acted in bad faith. The city of Syracuse will hold a 9/11 ceremony tomorrow in Fayetteville Firefighters Memorial Park. There will be 17 minutes of silence to honor the lives lost. The 17 minutes represent the time between the first and second planes hitting the towers. The ceremony will begin at 8:30 a.m.
And a new law signed by Governor Kathy Hochul is making retail shops install panic buttons in an effort to combat theft. When pressed, the buttons will immediately call 911 and emergency services. Some New York businesses fear that may have a negative impact. Owners would have to pay for training and the buttons themselves. Critics also say the button could increase fake emergency calls. The new policy is set to begin next spring.
Jailed ex-movie mogul Harvey Weinstein is resting and recovering today after being rushed to the hospital for an emergency heart surgery on Monday. His publicist confirmed Weinstein was complaining of worsening chest pains over the weekend. Surgeons removed fluid from Weinstein's heart and lungs. The former movie producer has been in and out of the hospital since his 2020 rape and sexual assault conviction. He is being held at Rikers Island and is scheduled to be back in court for a pretrial hearing on Thursday.
And it happened again. The Park Street Bridge was hit 3 separate times in less than 24 hours. A Syracuse police spokesperson said a garbage truck and a tractor trailer hit the bridge this morning. The garbage truck did not suffer any damage, but the roof and back end of the tractor trailer were torn off. Both drivers were ticketed following the accidents. This comes after a previous hit on Monday afternoon.
Coming up on News Live at 6, NFL star wide receiver Tyreek Hill was detained by police on Sunday. New body cam footage shows how the event unfolded.
And an Israeli strike leaves 19 dead. Rescuers are still searching for survivors. We'll be right back.
Welcome to an excellent episode of Live from Studio B.
you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
Get out! What part of God don't you understand? Hey, Drew, I'm getting arrested, Drew. I'm getting arrested.
Body cam footage from Miami Dolphins star wide receiver Tyreek Hill's detention has been released. Hill was handcuffed and detained before the Dolphins' opening game on Sunday due to what his agent calls a moving violation.
The footage shows a police officer approaching Hill's car and knocking on the window. After Hill refuses to exit the car, another officer begins to pull him out of the car. Hill was then put on the ground and restrained by 3 officers. One of the officers involved has been placed on administrative leave, and the Miami-Dade Police Department says it is investigating the incident.
In less than 3 hours, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump will meet for the first time on the debate stage in Philadelphia.
And Citrus TV News political anchor Luke Radel is in studio to break it down. Luke, what can we expect tonight?
Hey there, Lauren and Kaitlin. The stage is set in Philly for the debate tonight, hosted by ABC News. The rules for this debate are similar to the debate that happened on June 27th on CNN. Take a look. We have 2 minutes for answers and rebuttals from the candidates. There are no pre-written notes, props, or a live audience in the studio. And most importantly, and potentially most controversially, the microphones will be muted when the other candidate is talking. Now, that setup wasn't exactly helpful for President Joe Biden when he faced off against Donald Trump a few months ago. Take a look at how that went for him.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
So after that performance, polls for Joe Biden dropped pretty significantly. Take a look at this. He was down by 6 points in July, which was about a week after the presidential debate, in a national poll conducted by the New York Times. That was unsustainable for Biden. He ultimately dropped out of the presidential race and was replaced by his vice president, Kamala Harris. In August, she had what's referred to as a bit of a honeymoon period, where folks found her very attractive as a potential candidate. She was up by 4 points, 50 to 46, but now things have kind of leveled off a little bit. The race is back to a tie. A new poll released on Sunday from National Likely Voters on September 8th shows Donald Trump at 48 points, Harris at 47, within the margin of error for polling. But that means this debate, the first debate for Kamala Harris as a presidential candidate, is going to be very important. So I think she needs to do 3 very important things. First, she needs to introduce herself to voters, right? She didn't run in a primary. She's never been in a presidential debate before. Donald Trump has been in 7 debates by contrast. And she needs to draw a contrast with Donald Trump on the debate stage. She needs to show what she's going to do, what her plans and policies are if she's elected, but also how those policies are different from the policies offered by a second term of Donald Trump. And finally, she needs to make herself a candidate of change, which is interesting since she's been, in charge of the country for the past 4 years alongside of President Joe Biden. But she needs to draw a contrast with him because he's become increasingly unpopular in recent months. Now, we'll have to see what she ends up doing on the debate stage. And once you see what happens on the debate stage, you can come right here for post-debate coverage starting at 11 o'clock. I'll be anchoring with my friend Jake Morrell and like a boatload of Citrus talent. Kaitlin and Lauren, you'll be there too. I'm so excited to see what happens tonight at 11 o'clock right here on Citrus TV for our special report after the ABC News debate. Guys, back over to you.
Yes, Luke, we'll see you there. Thank you so much. Now, turning to the latest on the war in Gaza. According to the Gazan Health Ministry, an Israeli strike overnight in a safe zone in southern Gaza has left at least 19 dead, 60 injured, and thousands of others displaced. According to Hamas, they were not placed in the area.
Rescuers are still searching beneath debris in Gaza for any survivors still unaccounted for. Civilians were hiding in tent camps along the Gaza coast at the time of the strike in hopes of seeking shelter from the ongoing war.
And the latest on Typhoon Yagi in Vietnam, the death toll has climbed to 87, while 70 others still remain missing. Reports say floods and landslides caused most of the deaths and hundreds of injuries.
Yagi is the strongest typhoon to hit Vietnam in decades, with the winds up to 92 miles per hour. In addition to the casualties, thousands of people have been evacuated to avoid the floods.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Welcome to my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to News 11 at 6. Here you have your 7-day forecast, coming up right here. Tomorrow it's going to be pretty warm, 80 degrees outside, very similar to what we saw today with a 58 being the lowest. You're going to have a little bit of clouds, but that humidity is going to pick up in the evening as it always does, so be careful when you're outside. Now Thursday, we're going to see a little bit more clouds, a little bit less clouds, It's only going to be partly cloudy, a bit warmer too, 81 degrees with the low of 60. Friday and Saturday, we're going to have a wonderful clear sky is happening out there. Going to be very good, very much like today, honestly. Hopefully going to see some people out in the quad enjoying themselves. Sunday, clouds return a little bit, but the heat is up just like how it was on Saturday with 85 to 60. Now, yesterday, we had some storms recently, and those kind of popped out of nowhere, at least for me personally. So I decided to take it upon myself to educate a few guys on how to make sure you're keeping a watchful eye on the sky so you know how to dress for that day. Now keep a lookout for those darker clouds that you're going to see kind of patrolling above the skies. And you can always, of course, keep an eye on Citrus TV the night before to watch our wonderful weather segments hosted by a variety of beautiful Citrus TV talent to keep you up to date on what the weather will be like in the next morning. Now, that's all for me. Back to you all at the desk.
Thank you, Tyler. Definitely should keep an eye out for those storms, but something else to keep your eye out for is the new iPhone. Apple announced the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, the first model built with generative AI yesterday at the launch event. The new phone comes with a faster processor, advanced Siri, camera control button, and new colors.
The exclusive AI features are being referred to as Apple Intelligence. These features include an emoji generator and camera features. The new iPhone is between $800 and $1,200. The phone will be available for pre-order on Friday and will hit the shelves on September 20th. Now, speaking of a new iPhone, I hear there's a new Syracuse quarterback. Max, what's going on in sports?
Yes, Kaitlin, that's right, there is. I'm not sure the new Syracuse quarterback has as many gizmos or gadgets as the new iPhone 16, but he's been pretty good the first couple of weeks. Also a 4-time MVP, returned to the gridiron last night in the NFL, and we'll talk about some baseball, all coming up in sports.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
If you thought Syracuse football quarterback Kyle McCord's Week 1 numbers were impressive, his Week 2 performance was more of the same. Welcome into sports. I'm Max Gifford. McCord, in Syracuse's 31-28 win over Georgia Tech, threw for over 380 passing yards, 4 touchdowns on 32 passes. So the question has to be asked, with all those being career highs, Kyle, is there any secrets that you have for us?
It's more so just, I think, a mindset every single week, just playing free and having fun. And I think it makes my job playing with these guys, it makes it feel like Little League, going out and having fun and just enjoying football, not getting caught up on one mistake and letting that kind of ruin the drive, just having short-term memory and letting it rip out there.
Not revealing any tricks, Kyle. Okay, well, your trophy case certainly doesn't hide anything. McCord was named the ACC Co-Quarterback of the Week on Monday, was also named for a second straight week to the Davey O'Brien Great 8 list. I mean, look at some of those numbers. That would be like if Kaitlin Campbell decided to play me in EA College Football 25. For reference, I'm really bad, so she would absolutely destroy me. But talking about, a guy like Kyle McCord, him and Little League Kyle and the rest of the team get a little bit of the rest. They're on to face Stanford next Friday, so they have an 11-day break. Game time for that contest is at 7, which means the clock strikes midnight on Orange Press Pass. You can join the action on YouTube and OTN then. And while Kyle McCord for SU fans has definitely lived up to the hype, there's been no one that's had more anticipation or hype around him than this guy right here, Aaron Rodgers. The 4-time MVP only played 4 snaps last season with the Jets and made his return to the gridiron last night, just 3 hours north of his hometown in Santa Clara. So let's get you down to the Bay for some Monday Night Football. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers, so calm, cool, collected in the pocket. Great to see him back, but Breece Hall fumbled on the first drive. That's not a great omen for the start of this season. And that was the story of this game. The 49ers took advantage of Jets' mistakes. And speaking of that, there's a jet sweep to Deebo Samuel to give the 49ers an early lead in the second. And another big story in this game, how about Jared Mason? 147 rushing yards in a season opener. That's the 4th most ever. There's Aaron Rodgers finally airing out the football to Allen Lazard. Lead cut in half, but one of the bigger stories, probably the player of the game, Jake Moody, 6 field goals. He got me 26 fantasy points. The 49ers take this game 32-19. And here's A-Rod's thoughts on game 1.
No excuses. We got to play better. I got to play better. And we'll bounce back next week.
You were not happy with the way you played?
I can play better. Yeah, no, I mean, I missed a couple throws. I missed the one to Garrett there, the last drive I was in. The pick, I missed just slightly inside on that one. Yeah, I mean, I felt overall I was getting the ball out pretty good. But, I had some opportunities that I'd like back.
Well, the good news is, Aaron, you have 17 more weeks to shape up. And I'm sure my football guys and gals out there have been thrilled. We've been talking a ton about football, but I have to give some love to my seam heads out there because the Syracuse Mets are down in Worcester for a doubleheader today. The first game didn't quite go as ideal as they would like. This game was close for a while. It was 5-4 Worcester, and then the Woo Sox would score 6 runs to take game 1, 11-4. The Mets and Woo Sox just got started in game 2. There's no score in the top of the first down there. The Mets way far out of a playoff spot, just playing for pride at this point, but always fun to get out to a game at Polar Park. And guys, that's going to do it for sports.
Well, thank you so much, Max, and we'll be right back with your wake-up weather.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
allowed to take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. When you wake up tomorrow morning, well, it's going to be a little bit on the chilly side. 55 degrees outside, but that's going to warm up throughout the day to 80 degrees. But keep in mind, the clouds are going to be out, so when you're dressing for the weather, dress for that. And to be honest, I've been rather enjoying these sunshiny days we're having. It's a shame that it's going to be kind of cutting a bit soon with this cloud cover coming in. Maybe we'll get some more sunny days in the future. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think sunny days sounds great. But, you know, here's some more good news for dog lovers, that is. Beacon, the 4-year-old golden retriever therapy dog for the U.S. Olympic gymnastics team, has been released from the hospital. Beacon was hospitalized last week with a high fever and other symptoms, but his owner announced yesterday that he is now home and doing well. Isn't that great to hear?
Oh, it's so good to hear.
So, did you guys watch the gymnastics in the Olympics this year? I have to know.
I was a bit busy watching some of the other sports. Gymnastics, I used to do gymnastics, surprisingly. You'd think if I did it, I would be able to watch it and know what's happening, but I was never any good at the scoring stuff. If you asked me to commentate, I could never give you any kind of thing of what's happening.
Somewhere in my trophy case, there's like a gymnastics trophy for the 1 year of gymnastics, for the 1 year of gymnastics I did, but it had to be our participation trophy because I'm the least flexible person I know.
That's
you
fair.
And me both.
It's a tough skill to develop, you know.
I did gymnastics actually for a couple years, so I have a very big appreciation for the sport, and watching it just amazes me every year. Like, some of those people are our age and they're competing in the Olympics, so I feel like I need to step it up here.
It's crazy how talented they are. And I didn't ever see Beacon on TV when I was watching them gymnastics. Kind of sad I didn't, because isn't that a cute dog?
If I knew there was a dog, I honestly would have been watching, to be honest. That would have got me to tune in.
Right?
Yeah, star of the show.
Yeah, he's pretty cute. What about you guys? Do you have dogs at home?
No, I'm a cat person, actually.
Cat person?
I've always been a cat person. What about you guys?
I have a Great Dane. Yes. About 7 or 8 years old now. He is like the biggest ever, like just like plush kind of dog. He's not even that scary, and everybody is so scared of him.
I bet he's really cute.
I had a miniature golden doodle. She unfortunately died last year, but she was the best.
That's all the time we have for you today on News Live at 6. Don't forget you can follow us on X and Instagram.